What is up, y'all? We are now live on YouTube and Facebook, and we are live on Instagram or Rammer. How's it going? How is it going? We'll give people a few seconds to jump on here. We got Rigel in the building, running around, making a mess of my office, per usual. Isn't that right, buddy? Anyways, today we're going to talk about holiday meals. Holiday meals around the mentality of eating around the holidays. We want to talk about like actual meal ideas too.
I don't know. This is your idea.
We can talk about. Let's talk about the mentality first. I think that's important. A lot of people go into the Thanksgiving holidays, especially since that one is kind of looming. We'll talk about that one first. And the whole concept of Thanksgiving is about being thankful, not about the food on your plate. It's about spending time with those you love, really diving deep into gratitude, being present with those you love. And if you are in consuming copious amounts of crap food and you're feeling terrible afterwards and you're just sitting there on the couch in a stupor because you've overconsumed and you're in a food coma, you can't really make the most of the relationships that you're with and be present in the moment and truly be grateful. So I would dissuade people from going off of the rails on a holiday Thanksgiving carb binger. Now, there are certainly ways to enjoy the camaraderie of those you're with and eat great quality foods and avoid some of those adverse effects. Wouldn't you agree, babe?
Yep.
You're looking pretty tired.
I am pretty tired. I'm also watching Rigel in the screen, just like pacing back and forth.
Do you want to kind of talk a little bit about that?
About what?
About just the mindset of going into like Thanksgiving specifically?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we hit this point every single year. And the big thing is, what are your goals? And is this one day going to help or hinder your goals? Like Robert said, it's a day of spending time with your family, your friends, just reflecting and being grateful, thankful, all the things. And for me, even like I was just telling Robert, like even we eat keto foods, but somehow it might be too many vegetables or something along those lines that still sometimes upsets my stomach. So I'm like, maybe I should even go like more strict this year, because I just remember the years prior just feeling a little bloated or like I just didn't feel right. You know, like I didn't feel like really good. And I was eating super clean. It was probably just a little bit more vegetables than I'm used to. So I think like for me, it's not worth me not feeling well to eat crap, you know, whether it be a keto treat or vegetables or whatever. Not that vegetables are bad. They just don't always agree with me. But I just think, you know, being aware of what your goals are, what the day is about, and how you want to celebrate it. I do love food. I do love the traditions of having different things. When it comes to the month of December, I really enjoy making like keto cookies and things like that, and just like having those on hand, because the month of December is just really exciting and warm and fuzzy and all the good things. But that's like my time, and I think that like I'm still very aware of like how many cookies I'm having per day. You know, am I going to use a certain kind of, you know, hot chocolate mix, or am I going to use an electrolyte chocolate or something like that? Like, you just try to choose the better option, the thing that's going to make you feel well, the thing that's going to make you feel like you want to get back to your workout the next day. And just feeling optimal. I really think is that's kind of like the having to make that decision. It's just like, what do you want to feel like tomorrow?
Yeah, and there's different ways. That one of my clients was asking me how they should approach Thanksgiving Day. You know, should they track their macros strictly? Should they meal prep? Should they not track at all? Should they totally go off the rails? And I kind of told them to really just depends on them and how detailed they want to be. I mean, a lot of people, you just have to know where your parameters are, where your trigger points are. Like, one meal is not likely going to cause a massive disruption, especially if you keep it keto. So if you're in the process of tracking your macros right now, but you don't want to track your macros on that day, that's going to cause you more psychological mayhem, then set yourself up for, can you get that from? So set yourself up for success if you are not planning on tracking macros. So one way you could do that is to condense your feeding window so you're not just snacking throughout the day on Thanksgiving, and allow yourself the freedom to eat ketogenic foods ad libitum within a shorter confined window of time. If you want to track your macros and that works well for your psychology, then by all means feel free to do so, and then just incorporate foods that are different that are still within those macros. That's what I'm personally going to be doing. I'm going to track my macros on Thanksgiving Day with my reverse diet, because I'll be in a reverse diet by that point. But I'm going to eat foods that are not in my norm, because I'll have them there. Well, they'll still be in my norm, but they'll be like ones that are a little bit outside my norm, but they'll all be tracked. Ryan, you might get a mess of everything, buddy.
I tend to actually undereat on Thanksgiving, and it's because I'm not in my normal rhythm and my routine. The foods are not as clean. There's a lot of seed oils and things like that. So I tend to undereat. I do try to take some keto bricks with me to kind of like fill in the gaps there. But I do tend to I would prefer to undereat than overeat on something that's going to make me feel bad, if that makes sense. So yeah, there's that.
Yeah. And when it comes to the types of foods you're going to consume, he's impossible. Like most people are going to bring foods that are just full of sugar and unhealthy fats cooked in unhealthy oils. You don't have to eat that. And if your grandmother spent all this time preparing some specialty meal, she should be okay with the fact that you have goals too. So her love for you should not be predicated on you consuming her apple pie at Thanksgiving. I've got a aunt who makes these rolls that are like we made shirts one year for her rolls. Everybody wore her that shirt talking about her rolls.
I've never had them.
Yeah.
Because I've always been keto.
I wore the shirt out of respect for her and the family, but I didn't eat the rolls. And guess what? She still loves me. You don't have to eat a food. You shouldn't have to eat a food in order for someone to love you or feel loved by you. Because that's not really what relationships should be built on. So if you have specific goals, don't feel like you have to sacrifice on those to eat foods that other people spent the afternoon preparing. That's just not how it works. Now, when it comes to the kinds of foods you can do, if you want to bring a dessert food, something that's out of your norm, something that's a little bit more festive and holiday focused, then make it with quality ingredients and keto, and bring it for people to try and share. Maybe you can act as a gateway to them to be opened up and trying new foods that are healthier for them in the first place. I've done the whole Thanksgiving scene where I would go in and I would just eat everything in sight, and then I would literally pass out on the couch for 3 hours afterwards. And then I'm missing all that time with the family I see once a year. That does not seem like a worthwhile use of my time. This year, I'm going to go in, I'm going to eat different foods, but they're going to be within my macro targets. I'm going to feel like $1 million, and I'm going to be present with the people that I love. And they're not going to love me any less if I don't eat their casseroles. So that's kind of my 2 cents on it. I take a little bit of a harder stance on it than most people may. But I know it works for me, and I'm not ashamed to continue to live by that. So y'all shouldn't be either. And that pretty much applies to Thanksgiving, Christmas, and all the above. Should I dive into these?
Yeah. No,
you already talked about that? Sorry. Well, hello there, Jonathan. Food should not be the experience, but it can be a part of the experiences you have. I like that. I like that a lot. Yeah. Our restaurant is open this year, so I'm working on Thanksgiving this year. My mom is glad because we serve fresh seafood, and she wants crab. She's sick of turkey. Hey, I like the idea of crab on Thanksgiving. I'm all about it. I would go to dinner at someone's house and would only eat the turkey. I would fix my main meal at home if sometimes embarrasses my mom, but I've been doing this for so long, she gets it now. Yeah, if there's something that works for y'all, there's no need to apologize for it. You know, we've been doing this lifestyle for 8 years now. People know what to expect when we're there. We oftentimes bring Tupperware everywhere we go, and people just respect it. You know, like maybe they don't get it the first year, maybe they question it the second year, maybe the third year they're like asking questions because they're interested, because they're seeing that your health is improving and theirs isn't. But just simply live my example. Don't be judgmental toward them. Like, don't turn your nose up to them if they're eating terrible foods. But just live your life in your best way on your terms, and don't apologize for that. Because you know what works for you and why you're doing this in the first place. So really fixate on that why. At the end of the day, if you just simply keep it keto and maybe overblow your macros a little bit or whatever, but you keep it keto and relatively clean, you're going to certainly minimize the downside. So yeah, that's our 2 cents on that. Anything else on Thanksgiving? Holiday meals? Everything I just said applies to Christmas meals or any holiday meal for that matter. Anything else? What's the matter?
I don't think so. I mean, I would do the same thing with alcohol. I know that holidays are a big alcohol drinking time. I haven't drank alcohol since before we conceived Rigel, because I knew I was going to try and get pregnant, and I didn't want that in my system. Hey, buddy, please stop. But I would be aware of what you're drinking and how that's also going to make you feel, and what it's going to do to your blood sugar and all of that kind of stuff as well. So
Jonathan says, spatch, cook, smoke your turkey, don't fry. I've never heard of that. We've always deep fried them, but they've always deep fried them in peanut oil. So I'm trying to convince my dad to deep fry turkey in beef tallow. Deep fried turkey is the tastiest way to eat turkey, in my opinion, but I've never heard of spatch cook. So I'm going to have to look that up. Let me just search that right now so I don't forget. But I think deep frying it in something like a tallow would be totally sufficient. Spatch cook. Have you heard of that?
Mm-mm.
Spatch cook turkey. I don't even know what that is. How to spatch cook a turkey for Thanksgiving. Spatch cooking requires a bit of extra work, but it results in a seriously succulent turkey.
Succulent.
Reduced cooking time. How to spatch cook a turkey. What you'll need is turkey, shears, cutting board, butter or olive oil, meat thermometer.
Do they just like cut it? I think they just cut it.
Cut it in half, basically. So butterfly it. Flatten the bird. Season the turkey. Bring turkey to room temp. Dry off the bird again. Roast the turkey in the oven at 450. Let it rest. Make some gravy. Carve the turkey. I missed the part on, I guess, just roast the turkey at 450. Pour a couple cups of water into the baking sheet or a can of beer. History of the moisture will steam as the turkey cooks, making for ultra juicy meat. Roast until the skin is golden brown, and a thermometer inserted at the thigh registers 160, usually 1 hour to 1 hour and 10 minutes. Interesting. Well, I'm going to have to try that, but I'm most certainly going to have to try the deep frying in tallow, because deep frying is so good. It's pronounced the way it's spelled, spatchcock. Just smoke it and baste it in lard every couple of hours. Interesting. I like it. All right, we got some comments here. Snatching saves time. Spatching. My favorite couple. Well, thank you, LMTZ. Rigel's growing so fast, handsome little man. He is a handsome little man indeed, and he is growing very fast indeed as well. I've actually, speaking of all this like psychology around food, I'm actually going to be speaking on the food addiction panel at Keto Con with a few other people, which I'm super excited about, because I just published a podcast actually on relationships with food, eating disorders, things of that nature. And that's a topic that does not get enough attention, because a lot of people struggle with it. And I can really confidently say that this prep that I'm in, preps are oftentimes when people go off the rails and deviate, because it acts as a catalyst for people to feel sacrificed from food and be more inclined to overindulge. but I'm going to take a very structured approach to this reverse diet in a few weeks and hopefully minimize any of that, because at the end of the day, you just have to be present. I mean, at the end of the day, why are you doing what you're doing? Like the food, your world should not revolve around the food on your plate. The food can and should be enjoyed, especially amongst people, but not at the expense of your health or being present. Why are you such a goober? Why are you always messing up my office? You come in here, you take out my markers, you mess up my marker board, you throw all my books from the bookshelf on the floor. You're a goober.
You want to take him for a second?
Sure. Any Christmas break flavors in the works, says John Roth. Well, John Roth, all I got to say is keep an eye on your newsletter, brother. There may be something popping in the near future. We've always got something up our sleeves. I know it's kind of always my default answer, but we do have some exciting things in the pipeline at Keto Break. That's all I got to say. Congrats to the winner of the sauna giveaway, by the way. Stephanie R. won the sauna giveaway. I had a call with her last week and today and got her shipping address information, and we are shipping her a $5,000 Salus infrared sauna, and she is stoked. Her husband's super excited. She's super excited. I'm excited for them. So let me know what y'all think of the giveaways. Do you like the giveaways? They've really been trying to do these really high-end items like the squat rack, the sauna, the kayak, the cold plunge. We've got another giveaway in the pipeline right now that I'm super excited about, and I think y'all will be too. So I'd love to get y'all's feedback on the giveaways.
All right, Jonathan just said, like, cut the spine out, lay it flat, smoke it, and baste it, lard every couple hours. And the babies and the markers, should you see my office wall?
Yeah, I bet it's crazy.
I wish Keto Con and the low carb cruise weren't at the same time next year. I know. I think there's a couple of people who are actually trying to go on the cruise, and then when it gets back, they're just going to fly to Keto Con.
That sounds crazy.
Yeah, I think Jonathan's doing that. But it is crazy. It is super busy. Like, it's just I don't know. I don't think that it wasn't done on purpose, but
not optimal.
Yeah, not optimal for sure.
Because I would love to do both. I don't like to have to pick. How much caffeine do you have per day? So I normally have 2 cups of coffee. So there's what, 200 milligrams per cup?
Probably.
So 400 milligrams there. Sometimes I'll have a caffeine pill, which is 200 milligrams. So at the most, I would have 600 milligrams. And at the least, I'm having like 200. But I've gone with the crystals pretty much. Well, you're kind of introducing more coffee now.
Yeah, I'm cutting it back out right now.
Okay.
But I have had decaf up until probably a couple months ago when we started traveling. I needed a little extra booster. So when we're home, I do decaf. And then when we're traveling, I might do a little bit of caffeine, but it's usually just like 1 cup of caffeine or a half cup coffee. So I'm not doing very much at all.
Yeah, not too much for us. I used to do a ton, but I've kind of
both used to do a ton.
Slacked up. You mentioned alcohol. I did that 365 Savage. Yeah, 365 Savage, no alcohol. Should I have a glass of wine at Thanksgiving?
It's totally up to you.
I haven't had an alcohol in over a year. Y'all go above and beyond the giveaways. Well, thank you. We certainly are trying to make them appealing. Love the giveaways. You guys are the best. Well, thank you. Hopefully y'all win.
Jonathan said, I'm not speaking at Keto Con, found out last week. Really?
That's a bummer.
That is a bummer. I'm surprised with some of the people that were chosen. Not saying it's bad, just, there's just a mixture, and that might be because the cruise is at the same time and, all that kind of stuff. I think they're also trying to spread their wings and reach out to new people as well. But I'm surprised by that.
John says, will do. Brooks have been serving me well out flying. I always have to explain I'm not eating a huge piece of fudge. Yeah, it's not a huge piece of fudge. However, I've been warming mine up slightly, and it tastes very similar and has a very similar texture to fudge when you slightly warm them.
Jonathan said, I might still try to make it out. We shall see. Yeah, well, let us know if you decide to make it out or not. Liz says, do you think caffeine can stall progress? I don't think it would stall progress.
It can if it impacts your sleep.
Or your stress levels. Like if
Yeah.
you're overly stressing your body and then you're trying to drink caffeine to override that, then yes. But I think it's more of a core problem. Like you're drinking caffeine because something else is going wrong.
Yeah, 100%. What else you got there?
Q, good thing you have 0 caffeine pre-workout. Yeah, that's right. Jonathan Shane has Performance Gains, zero stim pre-workout. Every once in a while, I will do the Energized Reds, which I think he said has about 30 milligrams of caffeine in it. So sometimes that's just a nice little boost. I'll tell you what, not having caffeine, and then when I do have caffeine, it's like I seriously feel like I'm on a drug. And it's probably because caffeine is literally a drug. But it is crazy going without caffeine and then having some. Like the first time I actually did it was an accident. I ordered a coffee and I was like talking like nonstop to Robert like an hour later. And I was I'm pretty sure they gave me caffeinated coffee. And then I tried it again and Rigel didn't respond to it at all with the milk. And so I tried it again just to see like how it did, how I would do with it, knowing for sure. And it did the same exact thing. So it like totally made me feel like just crazy.
Yeah, if you take a ton of caffeine, it would behoove you to cycle off of it or minimize it for like 2 weeks and then bring it back in at a smaller dose. And then you'll get the same effect that you are currently at the higher dose. You just have to kind of titrate it and modulate it from time to time.
I had more energy when I didn't drink coffee. Wish I hadn't added it back, but here we are. LOL. Just take it right back out.
I do love coffee.
I love coffee too. That's why I do decaf.
Yeah.
Because it tastes delicious. I do love the taste. And some like I think either I was pregnant or something, and they were like, "What's the point of even getting a coffee if you're getting decaf?" Like the person at the coffee shop said that, and I was like, "You're dumb because I'm literally helping pay for your job." But to me, all the other drinks are for enjoyment. Like, why drink a Coke? Why drink? What else do people drink? Juice. Like, why would you drink all the other things? It's mostly for enjoyment, right?
There's a tea that I drink that has 70 milligrams of caffeine per tea bag. It's called, you know what it's called?
I don't know what one you're talking about.
It's delicious, though. I forget the name of it. But if you wanted to do that instead of coffee, that would be a good option.
The tangerine one?
Yeah, it's like tangerine, energy. I forget the brand. You know the brand? Yogi, yeah. But it's really good. I like that. I'll put a little bit of cream in there with that, and it's delicious. And we got anything else? Anything else in the pipeline? We're going to be traveling next week for the last competition. I've got one more competition, World's competition, which is the biggest one yet, next Sunday. So we're going to be traveling next week.
And then the week after that is Thanksgiving, so we will not be here for the next 2 weeks.
We may be able to do next week, depending on if we're settled in at the Airbnb or not. So next week is up in the air, but the week after is not. So we will keep y'all posted on next week for sure. But if we do a live next week, we'll probably be talking about the peak week because it is the last peak week of the season, which is kind of crazy.
Crazy. It's our last trip. We're tired.
We are. But we have got a ton of exciting things in the pipeline for you. I'm super stoked to be talking about it. I just want to focus on these competitions right now, and then we'll unleash the Kraken. I tested my teas with a glucose monitor, had a lemon tea register 99. It was herbal too. Yeah, certain things impact certain people in certain ways, so it's always good to test and not guess. Chase, what's up, brother? After getting your pro card and soon to compete at Worlds, what are your goals for the upcoming year? I'm actually going to do a full-blown deep dive on that in a video and a podcast, so I'm not going to reveal all just now, but a lot of it is going to be family-oriented and business-oriented, so lots of exciting things there. So I will definitely keep y'all in the loop with all things post-prep.
Lost 270 pounds in a little over a year. Coffee didn't stall me at all. I did add it back after 5 months.
5 months. Worlds, let's freaking go. Yes, sir. It's going to be good, man. I'm stoked. I am stoked. All right, y'all. We are 25 minutes in, and we've got to get to another meeting. So I'm going to boogie, but it is always a pleasure chatting with y'all. Much love. Rigel loves y'all too.
Most shredded man alive.
Yeah, buddy. That's the goal. All right, y'all. Much love to y'all. Take care. Toodaloo. Ta-ta for now, and we will talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.